Hi guys, today's lesson is the history of the periodic table, and this is a good follow-on lesson from the last video, which was the introductory lesson to the periodic table. So let's get started. Who was responsible for the discovery of the neutron? This was a man called James Chadwick. This is just one of those things you need to know. The next one, calculate the number of protons, neutrons and electrons for potassium. So it's this one here. So remember the bottom number, the small number, tells you the number of electrons and also the number of protons. So electrons is 19, protons is 19, and the neutrons is the large number, so 40 minus the small number. So large number, 40 minus small number, and that equals 21. Now the last question, define the term isotope. So the term isotope is given to any element that has the same number of protons but a different number of neutrons. Right, let's get started with today's lesson. Right, we're going to start off with a recap on the periodic table to see how much we remember. So let's try and fill in the blanks. So pause the video and then unpause for the answers. Right, elements are arranged by their what? This is their atomic number. And the atomic number tells you the number of protons. Each new element is represented by what? By a symbol starting with a capital letter. The periodic table is made up of vertical columns called groups and horizontal rows called periods. Hopefully you got that all correct, and now we're ready to move on. Now I'm going to talk through the answers to each of these questions, and this will give you a brief overview to the history of the periodic table. Now you may have noticed that two of the questions are in pink. That's because they tend to be popular exam questions on your GCSEs. So when you do your timeline, you'll need to make sure you can focus on these and understand them so that you can repeat this information in your GCSE exams. Now let's get started. The first scientist to ever organise elements was Dobereiner. And what he did was take elements and group them based on their properties. And he put them into groups of 3 and called them Dobereiner's triads. Now, after that, a man or a scientist called Neutrons came up with a new way of organising the elements. He organised them by their atomic mass, how much they weighed. And although it was better than Dobereiner's version, it still wasn't complete and looked nothing like our periodic table today. The biggest advancement in our periodic table was due to a man called Dmitri Mendeleev. And what he did was he took ideas from Dobereiner and Neutrons and put them together. Mendeleev organised the elements based on their mass and their properties. And when he did this, he found that gaps started to arise in his periodic table. But rather than just leave them, he actually made predictions about what these elements might be and what their properties might be. So this is how he overcame his problems. What was brilliant about Mendeleev's discovery was that later on, much later, these elements were discovered and found to match Mendeleev's predictions. But this still wasn't the periodic table that we have today. This was due to a man called Henry Moseley, who organised the elements not by their atomic mass, but by their atomic number. So when he did this, he found that all the elements started to line up nicely, basically, in groups with similar properties, increasing in their number of protons. So just to recap, Dobereiner organised the elements by their properties and called them triads. Neutrons organised them by their mass, and these were called Neutrons octaves. Mendeleev combined the two and did mass and properties. Gaps appeared in his periodic table, and he made predictions about what they might be. Years later, these elements were discovered and fit Mendeleev's pattern. Many years later, Henry Moseley arranged the elements by their atomic number and properties, and this is the periodic table that we have today. Right, what I'd like to now is, using the information I've just given you, create a timeline or storyboard to show the development of the periodic table. You must include all of the information that I've given you, as well as each scientist's discovery. Right, I'm going to leave you with 4 questions now to have a go at. Have a go, see if you've been keeping up, and if there's any issues, put a comment in the box below and I'll reply with a worked example or some more support. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.